Okay. Okay, so hello everybody. We are in Dresden School of Management, and today I want to introduce you my friend, my colleague from Belgrade, Dr. Mihaela Lazovic, and she will tell you more about herself, but she will speak today about the most important operation in the hotel and restaurant business, I think, communication. So please, you can start.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Kateryna, for this lovely introduction and for inviting me to be guest lecturer today. It is my honor and pleasure to meet you and your students. And today we're going to talk about improving communication skills to become a better hotelier and restaurateur. As my friend and colleague Kateryna said, it is a very important part of the hospitality industry and tourism industry as well. But before starting, I would like to tell you something more about myself. So I work as a full professor of vocational studies at the Academy of Applied Studies, Belgrade, Serbia, within the department called the College of Hotel Management. I teach business English there, so English for specific purposes. Usually it means for hospitality industry, gastronomy industry, and restaurant industry or management. I have been working there for more than 10 years. Also, I work as the chairman of the board for teaching license exam for English language teachers and professors at the Ministry of Education of Serbia. And of course, I write scientific papers in comparative linguistics and English for specific purposes in these three fields that I mentioned. So hospitality management, tourism management, gastronomy management, as well as restaurant management. I am also a published translator. I speak three languages, Serbian and Romanian as my native languages, and English as my professional language. And also I am a writer. I write short stories and poems and so on. These are just some of my publications that I selected for today. So on the right, you have my doctoral thesis, PhD, thesis, which is called Telicity and Verbal Aspect in English and Romanian within the past tense. And most recently, I published Hotel Business Discourse especially for this field. I also have a textbook published for my students, which is called Business English 1 and 2. And the photographs in the photograph in the middle, you can see some of my translations of novels and poetry and so on. So it is a pleasure to meet you. And I'm very happy that I am a guest in Dresden, even virtually, but I visited your city a long time ago. And it is very beautiful and I liked it very much. So I hope maybe you will visit Serbia if you have a chance, because our topic is in fact communication in hospitality and tourism industry. And as we all know, effective communication is vital or most important for all industries, particularly hospitality and tourism, because hospitality and tourism are in the epicenter of world communication, since many tourists come and visit different countries. So for example, in the city I live in, which is called Novi Sad, maybe you heard of it, we had a big festival, exit festival on Petrovaradin Fortress. So it is a music festival, which is well known worldwide. And we had many guests from all over the world. Of course, they had to stay in accommodation units. They usually choose cheaper hotels or hostels for their accommodation. And of course, they have to eat in our city. So they come into contact with people from the hospitality and catering industry. And this is very important for our professionals to understand the guests' needs and what the foreign guests want. And of course, it is very important for the guests to be able to communicate effectively with the people from the hospitality industry. So this is why hospitality industry is the field that heavily relies on communication. So this is also one of the consequences of globalization and interculturalism, is that the English language started to be used worldwide. So we can say that the English language is in fact lingua franca of the world. So something that Latin used to be in the past. So today, English language is in fact the language of world communication, and it is used worldwide as an official administrative language, as well as mother tongue. We have 375 million people who speak English as their mother tongue. On the other hand, English is learned in schools as the second language by over 750 million people. So it is very important to be proficient in the English language. It is also tested during the entrance examination. For example, in my college, the students can choose which language they want to be tested in when they start, when they apply for our college. So they can choose from English, German, French, or Russian, and they can take the tests in order to be admitted to our university. As well as scientific papers, majority of them are written in the English language. So as a scientist, you must be fluent in English in order to read someone else's paper or to write your own papers in English, which is a frequent requirement for international journals and international gatherings of scientific nature. And if you're not a scientist, everybody uses internet today. So the majority of texts, blogs, and publishes are in fact in English. So it is also one of the reasons English language is important for everybody. So now we will draw attention to foreign language proficiency in hospitality and tourism sector. So very often, foreign language proficiency offers a competitive advantage to both companies operating in hospitality and tourism sectors, as well as people who pursue a career in it. So for example, when you graduate from university and you want to get a job, during your interview, this question of foreign language proficiency must come up. Right, and it is not just the proficiency in English language, but in Serbia and in other surrounding countries, it is very important to know the second foreign language. So English language is obligatory in our country. We will learn it throughout our elementary school and high school, and at university levels as well. But in elementary and in high school, we also have an obligatory second language, and this is usually German, or French, Italian, Russian, sometimes even Spanish, so some of the world spoken languages. And it is very important to be fluent in foreign languages so you can understand the guest and provide the best service for the guest. So this is why raising awareness of the importance of foreign language learning and of course, the development of intercultural studies in tourism and hospitality industry is very, very important. It is paramount. And it offers future hospitality employees a cutting-edge advantage as opposed to those who do not speak English very well. So sometimes it can be argued that professionalism and success in hospitality industry employees is based on advanced language and communication skills, which can have a crucial role in appearing sophisticated, educated, and proficient, as well as making a good impression on the guest, which is one of the basic aims of the hospitality and tourism industries. Of course, the knowledge of foreign language has the key role in development of tourism, and it is sometimes has a decisive role in employability, as I previously mentioned. So those candidates that show foreign language proficiency are more likely to get a job than those who do not speak foreign languages. So this is why I conducted a survey to see what is the importance of foreign languages in hospitality and tourism. And I made two surveys. So one was for the hospitality management education. So these were basically my students and other students that learn at a university level. And the other part of the survey was for the hospitality industry, mainly for human resources and guest relation managers. So I interviewed them in more than 150 hotels in Serbia. So my aim was to find out what is the role of foreign language in hospitality industry, and of course to identify the most important foreign language skills. So whether it is, for example, communication skill, oral communication skill, so spoken language, which is the most frequently used domain. We also have the written language. So sometimes guests send emails and they're interested, for example, in a hotel, and they want to know something more about facilities and services that the hotel offers. So people who work at the reception must know how to reply to such emails, right? And also, I asked them about their opinion of intercultural skills. So how to communicate with guests from other countries. Right, and I also asked them about their suggestions on how to improve their language performance. And these are the results. So first I will present the results of the hospitality sector. So these are managers of hotels, guest relations managers, and human resources. So the majority of them, a very high 92%, identified oral communication, so spoken language, as the most important skill for hotel managers because they use it mostly, right? English for specific purposes came in second. So they thought it is very important for the people who work in the hospitality industry to know the precise language which is used there. So language used at the reception, or a language used in restaurants, in gastronomy, and so on. Intercultural skills came in third with 65%. Also, what was very shocking is that 70% of the hospitality sector exhibited lack of fluency in foreign language, which can result in misinterpretation of guests' needs. And of course, other possible intercultural misunderstandings and negative advertising is something that came in third, and it can be a direct result of misunderstanding. So for example, if a receptionist does not understand the guest's needs, then these needs will not be met and guest will be dissatisfied. And then he can post a negative review online, or he can write a negative blog. So it all affects poorly on the hotel. Also, what was very negative is that almost 75% of the hotels in Serbia do not have a policy of in-service language training, which means that they do not do anything to teach their employees English language or any other foreign language. So this represents a major problem in Serbia. I don't know how this reflects in your country. But for example, if somebody doesn't know how to do some receptionist tasks, they will learn it on the job, but they will not learn, according to this survey, they will not learn foreign languages on the job. So this is a very big problem. Only 8% of the employees use e-learning methods. So they try to learn foreign language online, which is also a good solution. And it is better than nothing, of course, but this research has shown the need of a systematic language learning among hospitality sector personnel. The students On the other hand, they were very satisfied with their offered studies, so the studies that they receive at our university. So at my academy, we have English language or business English language, which is obligatory for all the students throughout their education. And we have the second language, which is also obligatory, and they can choose among 3 languages. So they can choose German, French, or Russian, but they obligatory must learn the second language as well. So this is very important for them because when they graduate, they are proficient in 2 world languages. Their opinion coincides with the opinion of hotel managers that oral expression is the most important communication skill. So it is very important to be able to communicate effectively and verbally with the guests. This can sometimes represent a problem for people who are not so sure of themselves, who do not speak English very well. If you have, for example, a written text, you can consult dictionaries, you can consult some person, or you can go online, look at solutions and trying to answer emails, for example, successfully. But when you talk to someone, it can be rather tricky or confusing for someone. Students identified listening comprehension as the second most important communication skill, 43% of them, almost 44. So it is very important for them to understand what guests say, and then they will be able to help the guest accordingly. Again, cross-cultural communication came in third for students as well. They also mentioned international students exchange programs as a good opportunity to learn foreign languages. So, for example, if one of my students comes to Dresden, then they will become fluent in German language because they will be surrounded by German everywhere, right? So not just at the university, but at post office, at a convenience store. The television programs, radio programs are also in German. So it is very good to be surrounded by a foreign language, so then they will learn it fastly and efficiently. Integration of new technologies was also one of the ways that students think that you can learn a foreign language, and that's also very good because they use cell phones, they use the internet, laptops, so this is also a very good source of texts in foreign languages, so they read different texts about their own interests, but they're also in English. And they also think that longer training hours and longer apprenticeships in hospitality and tourism management sector will help them use their knowledge of English language with foreign guests. So this is the most important part, not just to read in foreign language, but to use it in actual conversation. So these are in fact the main tools which can be used to successfully improve the foreign language skills and intercultural competence among students as well as among people who already work in the hospitality sector. So the role of communication, it is also a very important topic. So whether we're communicating with guests to ensure their satisfaction or coordinating with the staff, effective communication is essential to the success of hospitality industry. So people who work in the hospitality and tourism sector must speak English with foreign guests, but sometimes they use foreign languages in direct communication amongst themselves. So for example, imagine that you work in a chain restaurant or a chain hotel and you get a new manager who comes from London, for example. So you must be able to communicate with this manager on everyday basis, right? So it is very important for him to understand the needs of his employees, but also the employees must understand the manager. It doesn't matter. Some people usually think that, well, those people who work at the reception or waiters, waitresses, so people who come into direct contact with the guests, are the ones who have to speak English fluently or any other foreign language fluently. But in modern times, this is not always the case because sometimes we get managers who are from abroad and they have to manage the whole hotel or restaurant, so you have to communicate with the managers as well. Or people from Serbia often opt to go abroad and work in hotels and restaurants because they earn more money than here. And in this case, they must also speak English with people with whom they work. So excellent communication skills are very important for the hospitality industry because they build understanding with the guests. They help us resolve some conflicts or problems that may arise, and overall they create a positive guest experience. So this is, in fact, the major goal of the hospitality industry, to have a satisfied guest. And of course, misunderstandings and miscommunication can disrupt the flow of the operations of the hotel or restaurant itself. So let's see, maybe we can do this mind map together. So what do you think? Why are communication skills important, in your opinion, or based on what you have heard in the last few minutes?
So
maybe some help, so they improve. Yes? They improve relationships between the people who work in a hospitality enterprise, whether it is a hotel or a restaurant. So it is very important to have good relationships within the staff. So good communication skills help managers to better understand the staff's needs. So this is also very important. The manager must always be aware of the needs of his or her staff. And again, on the other hand, the staff must understand the requirements of the manager in order for them to be productive and to do their job properly. So the mutual understanding, in fact, increases productivity between people who work in a hotel or a restaurant together, right? And this, of course, creates a positive work environment, which is very important for the productivity and efficiency of all the people who work there. It doesn't matter whether it is a manager or someone who works in maintenance or in housekeeping. Positive work environment is good for all the employees. Also, if the staff have excellent communication skills, they can provide information and assistance to the guests in the proper way, which is very important for customer satisfaction. Of course, customer satisfaction is one of the main goals of the hospitality industry. And of course, a satisfied customer will go home after the holiday and talk to his friends or to his relatives about the hotel that he or she stayed in. And maybe they will post a review or write a blog. So this all contributes to better promotion of the hotel or restaurant, for that matter, right? Because people like to take photographs of the food. They like to post the photographs online on their Instagram profile or any other social media. So this also represents promotion for the establishment as well. And this is what increases sales, right? Because somebody will see this post and think, well, maybe next time I can visit this restaurant and have this dish or check out some other dishes. And this will attract customers and increase sales. And of course, it will attract repeat business. So if we have a satisfied guest, then this guest will maybe consider coming back to the restaurant or the hotel next time, right? So what do you think? Do you have anything to add, maybe? Okay, well, so we get the general idea about the importance of English language proficiency and importance of communication skills, right? So next, we will see this case study that I prepared for you, impact of using poor English communication skills in a hotel. So in this case study, we will see the consequences of negative effects of using poor English communication skills. So here we have a new receptionist, and he doesn't speak English very well, and he has poor English communication skills. And this is why he has trouble understanding guests' questions. He sometimes misinterprets the requests of the guest and provide inaccurate and unclear responses. Right, so here are just some examples. Check-in mishap, so something that happened at check-in. I have a reservation for today, and I was wondering if early check-in is possible, but the receptionist confused these two terms and said, no, early checkout is not allowed. So this is why I mentioned English for specific purposes. In this case, it is English for hospitality purposes. So it is very important to know what check-in and check-out means, right? Or room service error. This can also happen in a restaurant, right? I would like to order just a Caesar salad with grilled chicken, please. And then Mark, the new receptionist, said, okay, you want salad with grilled chicken and no Caesar dressing, right? So because the guest said just Caesar dressing and he misunderstood it. So he misunderstood the whole concept of Caesar salad. So that's a very nasty mistake, right? Such as the third one with the reservation confusion. So the guest said, I made the reservation for 2 nights under the name Smith. Can you confirm it? Sorry, I don't see any reservation for Smith, but I have one for Jones arriving tomorrow. That's you, or is that you, right? So he offered some other reservation, and usually John Smith is a very common name, so maybe this is why he offered this Jones instead of Smith. Also, apologizing for maintenance issue. There is a leak in my bathroom. Can you please fix it? So leak, L-E-A-K, is the word that means accidentally lose liquid through a hole or crack. So the water is coming out of some bathroom appliance. But the receptionist said, I'm sorry for the leak. I will send a technician to your room to fix it, as he is busy fixing other people's breakfast. So leek with 2 E's is in fact a vegetable, similar to onions. So this is the confusion that the receptionist made between 2 words that sound similar or the same, but they have different meanings. And of course, maybe the most serious one, I have a food allergy. Can you ensure my meal is prepared without any nuts? Absolutely, I will make sure your meal is nutritious and doesn't contain any nuts. So this is also a very common confusion between the words nutritious, nuts, allergies, and so on. So we can all maybe deduce this receptionist is not very proficient in English, and this causes many misunderstandings, and it is directly related to guest dissatisfaction. So this case study underlines the importance of effective English communication skills within the hospitality industry, and it also demonstrates the potential negative consequences of employing staff with limited language abilities, right? And of course, it highlights the need for ongoing training, monitoring, and support to ensure excellent customer service. Do you agree? What do you think? So it is very important to overcome the language barriers and to be able to help the guests more efficiently if you know if you understand their needs, right? What do you think?
Probably you know some cases from your life with these misunderstandings.
Do you have the text in front of you? the actual case study.
No, tell me, what do you think about that?
Yeah. So
Yes, I know it's
please.
not with English, but with German right now. It's a little hard, you know, especially with the dialects of the several regions in Germany. And so they have like a special way of saying words, and normally, like in my experience, I wouldn't understand. And then I would kindly ask them to repeat, but something happens here that they get stressed and they don't have patience, and so they're already like in a bad mood, and they repeat it to you like same dialect, and then you don't understand again. And
Yes.
it's a little hard, I think, because I mean, us as immigrants, we try to learn German, but it's always really hard to always know every word, and especially the way they say it.
Yes, I understand, especially if you have this mother tongue interference, as you mentioned at the beginning. So the German as the native language influences this second language, right? For example, English. So they use maybe some German words that they don't know the translation. And this can also cause confusion. Right, excellent. Thank you so much. Any other opinions?
When living abroad, like a lot of the time, because I don't speak a language, there'll be some confusion. For example, with allergies, I'd ask them to use like a specific, like gluten-free sauce, for example, and they wouldn't understand, and that can create problems.
Yes, excellent. Yeah. So these maybe misunderstandings or not understandings at all can result in guests' dissatisfaction, guest complaints, and ultimately in negative reviews, right? Which can have negative financial implications, right? So if you read a negative review of a dissatisfied guest online, you will not go to that restaurant or to that hotel, and this will this can bring some financial difficulties to that establishment, right? So what do you think? Which can be solutions for improvement? So what strategies can we apply to overcome this problem? Because we learn foreign languages throughout our education at all levels, but somehow the majority of people, especially in Serbia, who work in the hospitality and tourism industries, they don't speak English very well.
You could just offer language courses where
yes, excellent. So we can yes, this is something that I'm trying to do in my countries, you know, to offer some courses or some seminars, courses that last 2 or 3 days, just to raise the awareness of the importance of foreign language proficiency, so they can learn at least the things that they need in order to do their job well, right? So I teach, for example, business English at the reception for concierge workers and so on. So that's very important. Or English language for waiters, waitresses, chefs, because chefs today also use foreign languages because it's very popular in our country. If you like the dish, for example, you can ask to see the chef, and you can congratulate him or tell him how much you liked the dish. So he will, he must be able to respond, right, properly to the guest, to the satisfied guest. So that's also very, very important, right? So we can learn English in courses, in classrooms. We can learn English online. We can learn foreign languages also throughout online programs. So this will, in fact, enhance the knowledge of foreign languages. Okay, so we also have, I also prepared you a post on TripAdvisor about of a dissatisfied hotel guest. Do you have it maybe there with you?
What printed?
Yes, I sent it to you yesterday.
We have 4 handout.
Mm-hmm.
What number we need to use?
Is it the case study?
Um,
It has the same topic, impact of using poor English communication skills in a hotel.
I can see only like handout 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And 4. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I will, if it's not there, I can send it to you. I'm sure that it's somewhere, but it is a post. You can read it later. It is a post that someone put on TripAdvisor about her dissatisfaction with the people who work at the reception and could not help her during her stay in a hotel. So it is very interesting maybe to read it as a part of this case study.
Okay.
So next we're going to talk about the strategies for effective communication. So how do we actually effectively communicate, right? So first impressions are very important for any job and any type of communication, because we form our first impressions immediately when we see an establishment or when we see a person and so on. Next, we're going to talk about verbal and non-verbal communication and about the importance of being respectful to the guests and listen to their problems very carefully, and of course be aware of other languages and cultures and their influence upon your guests. So as I said, first impressions are very important, and guests make judgments about the business based on many things. For example, appearance of the staff, appearance of the room, the business, the posture, courtesy of the staff, and so on. So for example, if you entered the restaurant and saw these tables or this waiter whose uniform is not so clean, right? His facial expression shows that he doesn't care much about his job, right? So what would you think? Maybe this restaurant, yeah?
Yeah, it's not that good. Maybe the food is not hygienic.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yes, because we can see that the dirty glasses are still on the table together with the used plates and napkins and spoons and so on. But when we see something like this, it is a completely different first impression, right? Everything is clean, everything is tidy, ready for the next guest. So we can all agree that the first impression is very, very important for everyone, right? So next, we're going to watch a video about these first impressions. You will see 2 waitresses cater to a guest in a restaurant. And we're going to talk about the verbal and non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication, we all know what that is, right? So our gestures, our posture, our facial expression, our appearance, and so on. And of course, you will tell me something about your general impression of the restaurant and of the waitresses. And how do these factors communicate a message to the guest about the restaurant and its attitude towards the guests, okay? So it's a short one, and later we will discuss the questions that I read right now.
Excuse me. I've been waiting for an hour for my food, and now that I get it, it's completely cold.
I am sorry, but that's not my fault. We have a new...
Mihaela, can you make it a little bit...
Sorry?
Can you make it a little bit louder from your side, probably?
Okay.
Yeah. So things can
with you and bring me a warm one.
Is it better?
No. Just a moment.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
I've been waiting for an hour for my food and now it's completely cooked.
Yes, I
Unexpectedly many guests, and that's why there are some delays in the kitchen. May I take your food with me and bring you another fresh one? Would that be okay for you?
Yes, please.
Here you are. Here is your fresh food. Sorry again, I apologize. May we offer you some coffee and dessert on the house?
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice meal, sir.
Did you manage to?
Did you hear? Very bad
Mhm.
sound. Probably.
Yeah, so it was, I put it as loud as I could, but I will tell you here, you can read from the slide what the first waitress said. So the gentleman complained that the dish is cold and he was waiting for a very long time for his order. And she said, I'm sorry, but it's not my fault. We have a new cook who is still not familiar with everything, and we have unexpectedly many guests, so things can take a while, right? So she offered her apology, but she blamed it on someone else. Unlike the second waitress who apologized, and we have unexpectedly many guests, and that is why there are some delays in the kitchen. So she didn't directly blame someone else, but she offered an acceptable apology, right? She also made a suggestion to bring another plate of food, a fresh one, as opposed to the first waitress who did not. So this is what the guest asked the waitress. And the second waitress, along with this fresh plate of food, she offered coffee and dessert on the house. So that's also very important, to offer something to the guest so he will feel better, even though he was dissatisfied, right? Okay, so with verbal and with nonverbal communication, what did you observe? Even though that you maybe didn't hear well what they said, but what about the nonverbal communication? So the first waitress was very untidy. Her hair was not tidy, right? It was all over the place. She was slouching. You know what that means? She was leaning against the table, rolling her eyes at guest dissatisfaction. She didn't make any special offers. And what is very rude, she gave the plate directly into guests' hands, right? So she didn't make a very good first impression, and she appeared very unprofessional. Do you agree? Yes. And the second waitress was very tidy. She had her hands behind her back. She had good posture. She was standing straight. She wasn't slouching like the first one. She was very nice, very polite. She offered solutions. So we can say that she was very, very professional, right? So let's go back to these questions. What is your overall impression of the restaurant according to the first and the second waitress? So I'm sure that you wouldn't feel very appreciated as a guest if you had encountered the first waitress, right? Yes, the second one was more polite, more professional, and this is how the waiters and waitresses should conduct themselves on their job. So as I previously mentioned, nonverbal communication includes tone and quality of voice, making eye contact, paying attention when someone else talks, body position, movement, and of course, everybody can agree that a smile is very powerful, or the most powerful verbal communication, So body language says a lot about us, right? When we communicate, even when we are on job interview, right? So you should always pay attention when doing your job. What is your body language communicating to others? How do you stand? How do you sit? How do you feel? So for example, maybe sometimes you're exhausted, you're very tired, you don't feel like working. So even though you don't say it, maybe your face or your body language can make it clear, right? So we can see here that you should always make eye contact if you sit straight or stand straight, or if you cross your arms. Sometimes it looks defensive, right? So we can agree with this quote that we speak, in fact, with our vocal organs, but we converse with our entire bodies, because body language is very important and it also conveys a message. So the research has shown that 7% of the conversation is verbal, 38% is vocal, so what we actually say, while 55% is nonverbal, including facial expressions and especially eyes, right? We can see through the eyes if someone is angry or tired or happy, and so on. Also, what my work or this survey has conducted is the opinion of the people on other languages and cultures. So it is very important that we are familiar with other cultures, so we do not offend someone by offering them something that they will not accept. So language is in fact a big part of the culture, and the way we communicate is also connected to the culture. So I just, as a short explanation of this, I chose the word pudding, which can mean different things in different cultures, right? So when I say pudding in Serbia or throughout Europe, it usually triggers a memory of a sweet delight or something that we eat after lunch. So it can have many tastes, like chocolate, vanilla, even rice pudding, right? So it originates from France, as you can see, but in Great Britain we have black pudding. Are you familiar with this concept, black pudding? So it is a type of sausage which is made out of blood, and it is savory. It is usually served for breakfast, for dinner, and it is very delicious, and the Brits eat it a lot. And the third option is Yorkshire pudding. I suppose that you are familiar with this dish. It is made out of a batter which is similar to pancake batter, and it is baked in the oven in a tin, as you can see in the photograph. It is also a British dish, and they eat it usually for lunch with meat and gravy, but it can be eaten with jam as well. It is very delicious in sweet versions. Right, so here are some more photographs. As you can see, the English breakfast usually contains black pudding. And also, as I mentioned, chocolate, vanilla, and rice pudding on the bottom photograph. It is made out of rice and milk and sugar, and it is very, very delicious. So it is very important to know, for example, this difference, because if someone comes to a restaurant and offers black pudding, then it can be rather confusing for someone who doesn't know this particular English delight and dish. Okay, so next we're going to see another video about front desk first impressions. So we saw first impressions in a restaurant, but now we are going to see how can first impressions affect guests in a hotel. So after this, you will tell me your first impressions about the customer service in a hotel and about verbal and non-verbal communication of the front desk agent in the video. he performed many unprofessional actions. So you will maybe memorize a few of them and we can talk shortly about them. And again, to comment, to have an overall comment on the attitude portrayed by the front desk agent. Is that okay? It's not too much conversation in the video. Okay.
Mihaela, it is without sound or with sound? We can see it very slowly and without sound. Is it?
I don't have.
But probably there is no sound.
No, it's just music. Yes.
Okay.
Was going to this concert. So be like, oh, we got there like really late. So, yeah, the show had already started. What concert was it? Well, there was just like a little Indian.
Can you comment, please, because we can't hear.
I think it's also like maybe
Just
not just the action.
So,
That is not good.
tickets. Oh, wait, my batteries are low. Quick. So you. Very cool. So what's the plan? All right, Mr. Jordan, here are your keys. So easy to find. It's just right around the corner, room number 103. Have a nice day. See ya. That was my key. 13. Okay. Hey man. Next vacation. Thanks. 213. 213.
So let's see, maybe we can do this part together. What unprofessional items did you see or spot in the video? So the first one is with the parking. What others were there?
He was sleeping.
Excellent.
He was taking personal calls on his phone.
Yes, excellent. Sleeping, taking personal calls on the job.
Not paying attention to a guest standing in front of him.
Excellent. He was not paying attention. He was talking to his colleague while the guest wanted to ask something. Excellent. Yes.
Washing his hands.
He didn't wash his hands. Excellent. So poor hygiene for him.
Or wear the uniform correctly.
Yes, excellent. That's another one. Another mistake.
He also disrespected like facilities. His work by sticking his chewing gum.
He arrived.
Right, excellent. Excellent, good. So let's see the rest of the list from the video, but you will see that you mentioned the majority of them. Okay, so you were right. So, what are other comments? As you saw from the list, you were right. You enumerated the majority of unprofessional actions. What about his verbal and non-verbal communication? He didn't use professional language, right? He used greetings such as, hey there, how are you? My man, right, for the one who asked for the key cards and later stolen the laptop, right? Somebody mentioned something about nonverbal communication, that he was very sloppy, untidy, the incident with the chewing gum in the bath, in the locker room, right? So what is your overall comment? What would you think if you encountered somebody like him at the front office. So his unprofessionalism, in fact, doesn't speak only about him as a person or as a professional, but it gives an impression of the hotel itself, right? So who hired this man if he is not professional, right? Do you agree? Yes. Yeah, so this also translates, so his characteristics translate to the characteristics of the hotel. So you would think that maybe they don't take their job professionally and customer service professionally and so on, right? So for the last part, we are going to talk about, again, front desk first impressions, but professional segment. So we're going to see how a receptionist should behave and act. So we have handout number 1, Kateryna. This is for this video.
Yes.
Maybe if you don't hear it very well from my side, you can play it from YouTube.
Yes, probably. This link, just a moment. So it is the link from your presentation, yes?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
a moment, I will try to make it.
Mhm. Maybe we can.
Just a moment.
This is from my presentation. Maybe I can play it.
Yes, I'm opening it now. Just a moment. Yes. Yes, I think it will be better. So it is. Yes. I found it.
Yeah, so while we watch, you can try to fill in the handout, and together later on we can do it together.
Yes, just a moment, I will try to open it. Yes, we can see it. Okay.
Yes, excellent. Yeah.
Good morning, welcome to the Transnational Hotel. What can I do for you?
Good morning, my name is Tom Sanders. I have a reservation for a single room for 3 nights.
All right, Mr. Sanders, let me pull up your reservation. I can't seem to find a record of your booking. Did you book the room directly through us, or do you use a hotel reservation service or travel agent?
Well, I booked it directly through you. I thought you also paid a deposit on the first night. I have a reservation number if that helps.
Yeah, sure. Can I see that, please? Thank you. Oh, I see. Maybe there was a glitch with the booking system. Well, we don't have any more single rooms available, with the exception of one adjoining room, but you would then be right next door to a family with children, which might get noisy. But that's not a problem. I can upgrade you to one of our business suites. They all come with jacuzzis.
Oh, that sounds nice. But how much more is that going to cost?
That would, of course, be at no extra charge to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
My pleasure.
What about the wireless internet?
Oh, it's really easy. This is your access code and instructions on how to use it. If you have any problems, feel free to call the front desk. And this is a list of all the hotel amenities, like the gym and the indoor pool.
Wow, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Has the valet already taken your car, or will you be needing a parking pass?
Oh, I don't have a car. I took a taxi direct from the airport.
Oh, all right. Could I have some form of ID, please? And could you just fill out this registration form?
Sure. Use my driver's license.
Thank you. Oh, you're from San Francisco.
Yes, I think I'm all the way from the West Coast.
I hope you had a good trip.
Yes, I did. Thank you. The flight was long, but it was smooth, and I slept almost the whole way.
Oh, and is this your first time in the Big Apple?
Yes, it is. I have a business conference to attend, but I'm looking forward to getting some sightseeing done as well.
Well, I'd be more than happy to give you some sightseeing tips if you need any.
Thank you.
All right, I've got you all checked into your room. This is your room key. You're in room 653. Just take the elevator on the right up to the 6th floor. When you get off the elevator, turn right. Your room is at the end of the corridor on the left-hand side. Just leave your suitcase here and the bellboy will bring it up.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
If you need anything, please feel free to dial the front desk. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Did you manage to fill in everything?
No, very quickly.
Very quickly. So we can maybe watch it one more time and then I will help you with the answers. Is that okay?
Yes, we want to see one more time. Okay.
Yes, because it's very good English, you know, and that's a good practice for them.
Okay. So prepare. Be prepared. Let's start.
Good morning. Welcome to the Transnational Hotel. What can I do for you?
Good morning. My name is Tom Sanders. I have a reservation for a single room for 3 nights.
All right, Mr. Sanders, let me pull up your reservation. I can't seem to find a record of your booking. Did you book the room directly through us, or do you use a hotel reservation service or travel agent?
Well, I booked it directly through you. I probably also paid a deposit on the first night. I have a reservation number if that helps.
Yeah, sure. Can I see that, please? Thank you. Oh, I see. Maybe there was a glitch with the booking system. Well, we don't have any more single rooms available, with the exception of one adjoining room, but you would then be right next door to a family with children, which might get noisy. But that's not a problem. I can upgrade you to one of our business suites. They all come with jacuzzis.
Well, that sounds nice. But how much more is that going to cost?
That would, of course, be at no extra charge to you.
Oh, thank you.
My pleasure.
What about the wireless internet?
Oh, it's really easy. This is your access code and instructions on how to use it. If you have any problems, feel free to call the front desk. And this is a list of all the hotel amenities, like the gym and the indoor pool.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Has the valet already taken your car, or will you be needing a parking pass?
Oh, I don't have a car. I took a taxi drive from the airport.
Oh, all right. Could I have some form of ID, please? And could you just fill out this registration form?
Sure. Here's my driver's license.
Thank you. Oh, you're from San Francisco.
Yes, I am all the way from the West Coast.
I hope you had a good trip.
Yes, I did. Thank you. The flight was long, but it was smooth, and I slept almost the whole way.
Oh, and is this your first time in the Big Apple?
Yes, it is. I have a business conference to attend, but I'm looking forward to getting some sightseeing done as well.
Well, I'd be more than happy to give you some sightseeing tips if you need any.
Thank you.
All right, I've got you all checked into your room. This is your room key. You're in room 653. Just take the elevator on the right up to the 6th floor. When you get off the elevator, turn right. Your room is at the end of the corridor on the left-hand side. Just leave your suitcase here and the bellboy will bring it up.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
If you need anything, please feel free to dial the front desk. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, can you see my screen again?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Yes, excellent. So here are just some of the questions from the handout. So what is his name? Yeah, Tom Sanders, excellent. He has a reservation for, yes, a single room for 3 nights, excellent. What did the guests ask about the internet? This one was also easy. He posted the question, what about the wireless internet, right? So he talked about the Wi-Fi. What amenities does the receptionist mention? So amenities also, English for specific purposes, right? Amenities are the things that are offered to a guest free of charge, right? So gym and indoor pool are incorporated in the price, so they're not individually charged for the guest. Amenities can also include, for example, shampoos, soap, bath slippers, bathrobes, and things like that, right? So something that is not chargeable to the guest. Okay, the next question. How did he get to the hotel?
By taxi.
Excellent, by taxi. Who will bring the suitcases up? The bellboy, right? So this is a person who works in a hotel, and his job is to bring the suitcases up for the guests, to open the doors for the guests and help them if they need any help with the luggage. What does he have to do if he has a problem? So what does anybody do in a hotel if he has a problem? He calls? Yeah, so he calls the reception or the front desk. Excellent. Okay, so here are some other sentences from the text, from the video. I cannot seem to find the record of your booking. Did you book the room directly through you, or use the hotel reservation system, or a service, or a travel agent? Right, so this is a very important question for a receptionist, right? Especially if a problem arises, such as this one, that she cannot find the record of the booking. No, I booked directly through you. I have already paid a deposit for the first night. I have a reservation number. So reservation number can help in these cases. So she quickly found his reservation, because they had a glitch. So they had the malfunctioning of the booking system. Well, we don't have any more single rooms available, with the exception of an adjoined room, but you would then be right next door to a family with children. But there is not a problem. I can upgrade you to our business suites. So this is something, a solution that she offered to help the guests, right? She offered him a better room because they lost his reservation and he lost the room that he wanted to stay in, right? And of course, he asks how much more is that going to cost? And of course, it is at no extra charge to him, because they made a mistake with his reservation. Good. Excellent. Next, she asked him to fill in the registration form, and he gave her his ID. In this case, it is driver's license. It can be a passport as well, right? And then they had a small talk about where he's from, all the way from West Coast, San Francisco. I hope you had a good trip. So this is a good way to communicate with the guest while you do some work on the computer. In this case, it is the check-in, but also guests like when the receptionists show interest in their trip, in their life, and so on. Okay, is this your first time in the Big Apple? Big Apple is, of course, another name for New York. I suppose that you're familiar with it, maybe from films or TV programs. Yes, I have a business conference to attend, but I'm looking forward to some sightseeing done as well. Sightseeing, it means that he will go and see the sites of some important attractions in the city. Well, I would be more than happy to give you some sightseeing tips if you need any. So she can give him an advice on what to see in New York. Excellent. Okay, so he's staying in the room 653. It's on the 6th floor, sorry. So I marked here with orange the place of his room, right? So let's see, what is your overall impression of this video as opposed to previous one? Hmm?
She was much more professional.
Yeah.
When they made a mistake, she handled it professionally,
Mm-hmm.
offered a sweet. She also talked with him. I mean, she asked him about his flight, where he was from.
Mm-hmm. Yes, excellent. Excellent observation. Thank you so much. What about the rest?
Yeah, the same. I mean, I agree with what Susan seemed very professional.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I'd say, pretty perfect for the receptionist.
Yes, excellent. So this video showed a very good example of how front desk agents should handle a problem. How should she talk to the guest, offer her help, help him with the check-in and answer all his questions. Usually the questions are about Wi-Fi and the connection, because we all need it. We all depend on our cell phone, computers. So this is maybe the most common question. Good, excellent. And overall, she was very professional. Her hair was very tidy, her uniform was clean, she was smiling, she was very polite. So her body language showed an interest in the guests and in guest satisfaction. She cared about him feeling very welcome to the hotel and so on. Right? So in the end, we can go through these benefits of effective communication skills in the hospitality industry. And I suppose that you have maybe a larger picture of the problem that we are all facing. So it is very important to know how to communicate with the guests and with the other employees in order to bring guest satisfaction and repeat business, and to create a healthy work environment. It is if you understand your staff's needs better, then you can manage them more effectively if you are a hotel manager or a restaurant manager. So it is very important to understand the needs of the staff as well as the needs of the customers or guests. So it is very important to create, as I said, positive work environment. And of course, to be very good at promoting your hotel and attracting more guests. And of course, maybe what is most important to you as students, because you will soon, if not already, go to an interview and go in search for a job in hospitality industry. So good proficiency language skills can make you stand out in comparison to other candidates who come to apply for the same job. So it is very important to have this competitive edge, which effective communication skills can bring to you. So communication is very important. It is threefold in hospitality industry. It is important to talk to your guests, to understand their needs, to help them, to provide them with information, assistance, and so on. Also in communication with other employees, and of course it will make you a more desirable candidate as opposed to others who maybe do not have a proficiency foreign language skills as you. So are there any questions maybe or observations about the things that we talked about today? What do you think, in your opinion, about your communication skills?
I mean, I think we're pretty proficient in English. I mean, our study program is in English, so if we be proficient, it would be a bit difficult. So I think English is really a problem for us. I think I'm speaking for everyone.
Yes, excellent. So there is always place for improvement, but you are on a very good path. What about the people who already work in the hospitality and tourism industry in your country? Are they fit for the job if we talk about communication skills in foreign languages. So it doesn't have to be English, it can be other foreign language, such as German. Well, in your country, German is native language, but French or Russian or Italian, Spanish, any other world language.
I think because in Germany, education system is quite good. We learn languages like oral life basically, so it's pretty easy, I'd say, for voice reception stuff. Maybe some older people, I don't know, that grew up not learning English or some other language, maybe it's more difficult, but in general, I think it's easy. It's pretty good in terms.
Excellent, very interesting point. Good, so there is...
Just one, we will give word to our friend from India. So do you have some problems in India, for example? So in India, most of the people will speak English. And here, do you have some problems? Not here. Here you have?
Newcomers from India, we face like language problems. But I think in some places they can speak very well English, but in some places they can barely language. Like last time when I go to the, like for example, not for the first time example, this is an example from the household. I go to it and I ask that I am not speaking German and I can definitely say that I can easily understand but not too much. Then can you translate? Then I can translate more. Then like this is a little problem.
Okay, yes. I also, for me, it is very difficult in some places because here in the restaurants, especially like Chinese restaurant and maybe not German, sometimes German, so people there, they don't understand very good and they have, even if they speak English, so they have very different pronunciation, so it is very difficult to understand sometimes.
Yes, you're right. I agree. It is very important for especially people who work in restaurants to be proficient in English because they can have misunderstandings with the guests, especially, for example, for allergies, or some people don't eat different kinds of meat for religious reasons or for dietary needs. Someone is, for example, has a condition, he's ill, for example, and can't eat sweets, or and that can be a major problem, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
If we speak about young people, so yes, I absolutely agree that here in Germany, most of the young people, they speak very good English, and it's very easy to communicate at the street, everywhere, so it is really very good.
Yes, of course, Germany is a developed country, so they take care of foreign language proficiency, and that's very good because you have many tourists, and you should be able to provide them with the service that they deserve, right? With a very professional service, because of course you have more tourists than we, for example, in Serbia. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be your guest lecturer today. I hope that you enjoyed the lecture and that you maybe found out some new things.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I would like to ask you some questions.
Yes, of course.
My name is Ariana, and I'm from Career Service here at Dresden School of Management. And my question would be, how are your students high motivated to learn foreign languages? With English, it's understandable, of course, but maybe German language, Russian language. How do you help them to understand? It's very important. You said you have the 3 days courses, classes. It's very great. But if person are not very motivated, so what we can do? Because here in Career Service, we have such problem. sometimes people don't understand, our students don't understand they need to stay here in Germany, they need also speak German. If they want work in hotels, they need speak German. So what would you say, offer, I don't know, about this case?
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a very good question. Well, our students are motivated very much to learn foreign languages because we come from a poor country than Germany, and they strive to go abroad. They learn at our universities, but sometimes they enroll in, for example, master's courses or doctoral courses abroad. And even more, they want to go and work in foreign hotels, foreign restaurants, and they have the student practice. And this is where they get the real idea about the importance of foreign languages, you know, when they are obliged to use them. And then they're very self-critical, you know, and they come and said, well, I was at the practice and I didn't understand anything, so I have to work on my knowledge. And this is what motivates them. They want to go abroad, to work there, to have a better life for them, for their families. So they are quite aware of the importance of foreign languages. So maybe that's crucial, you know, for our country and for our students.
Yeah, because for here it's a little bit, yeah, with English, I can have everything, I can speak with people, but for job here in Germany, you need to speak German for this also internal communication. So yeah.
Yeah, so German is also very popular in our country as well. And our students mostly opt for the German language as the second language. They also learn it and they speak very well. And we have student training in Germany as well, so they like going there.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Are there any other questions, maybe?
No? No, okay, so thank you very much, Mihaela. It was really very interesting for us, and I hope you liked also. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kateryna, for inviting me, and maybe some other time we can see each other again.
Yes, of course, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. So I will switch off this recording, and after that I will share it also with you.